Hey me, it's me, at Mama! And we're back with more Guilty Gear Strive, yay! So, I have been playing off camera, and I've been practicing wake-ups, studying up a little bit more. Last we left off, if you didn't watch previous episode, which you did, I'm talking to me, we were practicing wake-up options. So I studied up a little bit more, watched some gameplay of myself, and practiced a little bit more. And I thought, for the benefit of any other beginners who might be watching, however rare you might be, I would go through what I learned, like some of my notes, right? Because yes, there are a lot of really good tutorials out there by pros, but I thought maybe if another beginner broke it down, it might be a little bit more digestible, because I got stuck on some terms and definitions also, so I can explain them. But needless to say, if someone better than me says I'm wrong, please listen to them. Anyway, I'm not gonna ramble. Let's get straight to it. So what is a wake up? A wake up is, well, when you get knocked down, it's like you're asleep, and when you get up, well, that's you waking up. So that's where the term comes from. It's a wake up, right? So that's obviously a disadvantageous position when you get knocked out, right? So when you wake up, the opponent's looking to capitalize on that disadvantage, right? And the same thing when you knock the opponent down, right? So when the opponent's knocked down like that, you have the advantage, right? But we'll go through that later. So when you are waking up, you have several options to try to defend, or even counterattack, right? The first option would be DP. Looks something like that, right? I don't think I did it perfectly, but it looks kind of like that. And DP stands for Dragon Punch. And the term comes from Street Fighter. It's okay if you don't play Street Fighter. But basically, in Guilty Gear, all moves that kind of have an upward trajectory like this, we call those DPs. And they all have invincible startups, which makes them really good for wake up, right? So it means that, when you're getting up, you can't get hit, right? So that's what makes them really strong, right? And option number 2 would be your Backdash. And that's just you backdashing out of wake up. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? So every character has a different backdash, so some people's backdash might be better, but everyone has a backdash, I think. Actually, some characters, I'm not sure. Not everyone has a forward dash, but I think everyone has a backdash. Some backdashes are worse than others, but everyone's backdash also has invincible frames, just not as much as the DP. Okay. Option number 3, and this is what I would always do, which always got me killed, would be to mash. And mashing, sometimes, I know the Japanese term is abare or abare, but I never hear that used. So mashing, basically, first the button mashing, and they usually mean, one of your fastest buttons. So it's usually a kick or a punch. In Bridget's case, it's usually a kick. So it would depend on the character again. And personally, this got me killed a lot in the lower levels, but in the higher levels, I think there's a bit more of an application. But we'll go through that again, maybe later. And the final option we have here is the jump. Right, and you just hold up through the wake up, and you'll just jump. And each of these options sort of defends against or straight up counters something that the opponent wants to do, and essentially you have to guess, right? So when like those high level guides, people, in like the pros, they say, oh, you have to guess. They literally do mean you have to guess. But you're not making like blind guesses. You're making, you know, educated guesses based on what your opponent or what you've observed your opponent likes to do. You know, kind of like playing poker, or you know, some sort of card game, like luck-based card game with some strategy in it. I don't know what else there is. If you play Mahjong, it's kind of like, you know, there's an element of strategy in Mahjong as well. I don't know why I'm bringing up Mahjong. Anyway, so those are your 5 options, and they each do a slightly different thing. So the first option I went over was the meaty. No, the DP. What am I talking about? And the DP beats out meaties. So a meaty is when they throw out an attack that will hit you on your first active frame when you get up, right? So it means if you're trying to do anything like throw out an attack, you're just going to get hit. So it looks something like this. So if I'm pressing an attack button, I get counter hit, right? So one more time. So even if I press my fastest button, I'm gonna get counter hit. Right? That's my fastest button. Well, technically it wasn't. This is my fastest button, but still, right? So it doesn't matter what I do. If I'm not, you know, if I'm trying to do a regular attack, I'm just gonna get counter hit. So that's what DP is for. If you notice, your opponent just likes to go unga bunga and just goes for those meaties all the time, doesn't seem to vary it up. This is when you can throw in a DP. If your character has a DP, not every character has a DP, and that's important. Right, so if I DP, because of the invincible frames at the start of the DP, I don't get hit, and then I get the counterattack and I get my turn back. Or, well, it resets to neutral in this case, but you know, the pressure's over, essentially, right? I'm okay now. So he no longer has the advantage of me being on the floor. Great, right? Option number 2 was Backdash, and Backdash also deals with meaties. Quite okay, right? But this one kind of depends. There are some meaties, some attacks that last long enough that it'll catch your Backdash, but not this one that I have set up here from Soul. If I can pull off the Backdash. There it is. I have my controller set up. Oh, sorry. Or I'm just bad. Listen, I'm gonna leave that in because I'm a beginner and I'm terrible. There it is. So the Backdash will also backdash you out of the meaty because, well, you also have invincible frames, right? But you have fewer invincible frames, and some attacks like this by Bridget will also catch you. So if I set up, let's say, Soul to Backdash, like this, and I knock him down, and I go for that, you can see, even though he backdashed after he got up, I still caught him, because that attack, it lasts quite a long time compared to something like this. So Backdash is useful against some meaties, but not all meaties. But it also gets you some space, and you know, if they're not expecting it, you know, you recover a lot faster than a DP. It's a lot less risky than a DP, because if you DP and they expect it and they block it, the recovery time is so large that you're gonna die, right? So if I expect Soul to DP and I just get the big counter hit, and I get a full combo off that. So as opposed to something like a Backdash, which is a lot harder to punish, it's a lot safer. So option number 3 was just the block, and well, this was the one that I was trying to incorporate more last time because it's the most safe-ish option. So, because if they try to meaty you, you're just gonna block it, right? Pretty straightforward. You just block, right? Can this be countered by anything? Yes, but at my level, you know what, I'm not gonna think about it. Option number 4 is to mash. And like I said earlier, mashing useful at higher levels, but I think at my level it usually just gets me killed because I always get counter hit. Like I said earlier, no matter what button I press, it's gonna get me killed. It's gonna get me counter hit. Right, I'm trying everything right now. Special move, doesn't matter. Where it is useful, I suppose, is if the opponent does some sort of delayed pressure, then you can stuff them out of it, right? Or if they mess up their timing, you can sort of maybe kick or punch them out of a bigger move. But that's if you notice they're doing that. I don't know, it doesn't feel very safe to me to mash straight out of Wake Up unless I'm really sure that I'm gonna get something out of it. Right? And then the last option is to jump. Or actually, second last option, I forgot. Second last option is to jump. Right? And again, just like blocking, pretty straightforward. I messed up. Yes, so there I was jump blocking, but I still jump. This also, I believe, loses to meaties. Let me check. Even if I jump block, yeah. Because jumping has startup time, so even if I jump block, I'm gonna eat the meaty. So this only kind of works against like delayed pressure, or if he's trying to throw you. Get up. Like that, right? But it's pretty straightforward. You can jump out of Wake Up. And finally, the last option is Wake Up Throw. Which, I mean, feels like a bit of a meme, but it is very useful. Because I feel like a lot of players, if you DP a little bit, you know, sometimes they'll expect the reversal. They'll expect you to throw something out on Wake Up, so they might delay pressure. And if they're standing right next to you, you just get the free grab. I don't use that enough. When people are next to me, I really should. Also, it's very funny. But yes, those are your, what was that, 6 options on Wake Up. And that's what I learned. And today, we're going to learn some Oki. And Oki is just a fancy way of saying what to do when facing your opponent's Wake Up options. Right, when attacking your opponent when they're knocked down. So the great thing about learning all these Wake Up options is that once I learned all of them, I realized that they apply to my opponents as well, right? And Oki, well, is basically learning how to deal with, you know, your opponent's Wake Up options, essentially, right? So, just like you have your options, you have CP, you have jump, backdash, block, mash, all of that. Your opponent will have all these options as well. So I have here Soul to do 3 of them at random. And you can see he has his DP, his mash, and the backdash. And he'll throw one of them out at random. And what I want to do today is work on implementing some safe jumps into my game plan. And there's the DP. And what is a safe jump? This was something that no one explained to me. No one, I could not find an explanation that was easy to find. I did eventually, and here's the thing, for the life of me, I can't remember where it is, so... was it Sejam? It might have been Sejam's explanation.